Sup guys, look, I got my own passport for the Rochester Comic Con, and I'll meet you when we're leaving. Bye. Okay, so we're leaving the car. I'm so excited. I'm barely holding it. So,
gotta be careful because there's some places you can't film.
why?
Because it's just the rules.
Dang it. Please, no copyright.
Okay.
My dad doesn't want me to film.
No, I want you to look first. Film. Let's just stand here and just take photos.
Jeez.
Well, this is what seems to be all you care about. Just standing here taking pictures.
Well, yeah, because...
Look first, take pictures later. You have all this time, Jess. Okay?
Sup, guys? And it was just like a second for you, but it was a while for me. So, you gotta kind of work with me here. Yeah. Hey, my dad has this exact phaser. And that one. And that one. And that one.
And we're looking through the first.
So I just met a rose quartz from Steven Universe. Yeah. So I'm going upstairs. So yeah, meet you up there. Okay, this is the second floor, I think. I hope. Here, let me check. Yep. The reason why I can't go on the third floor is otherwise they'll confiscate my phone. No more videos after that. Sorry, I keep having to pause it because I'm not allowed to take pictures of other art. So I just met another brony. He's a group of the Rochester bronies. I guess he's the head of it. So yeah. Hold up, I'm gonna get a selfie. So I'm going up to the fourth and third floor. So we're not allowed to take videos, so I'll just have to show you a really quick glimpse. Hopefully they won't confiscate my phone. Hopefully. That's basically it, bye. So we're on the fourth floor. There's nothing around here. Hey, do you guys have YouTube channels?
I do. Yeah.
I am Jesse Jonas.
Hello.
Want to get a shout out? What's your name?
My YouTube channel is Chef Boy DD. Chef, it's like Chef Boyardee, but with DD from King DDD.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to subscribe to it later.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye. I'll see you later.
No.
Okay, so I just did a custom art for this picture right here. So yeah, I'll show it to you not after because I'll probably vlog, but I'll show it to you at the end. So yeah, I'll see you later. Well, I'll see you in a second. And alright, we have another YouTuber with us. What's your channel name?
Super Mario Bros. Tunes.
So, Super Mario Bros. Tunes. Go subscribe to him too. And I'll also subscribe.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so look how the doors open. Hold up, that's a naughty. See, look. Here, let me zoom out. Oh, that's zoomed out all the way. But, yeah. Please don't let me get hit by a car. Do da do da do. I'm gonna go see the Batmobile because there's even more out here. Whoa! Wait, you can go in? I did not know that. Let's get their license plate number. Nope, they don't have one. Okay, so we weren't allowed in, though. Those were just guests. Oh, I think he's gonna drive it. I'm not sure. No, I don't think so. Oh, by the way, I'm not sponsored. I'm just recording. Okay, so these are all custom movie plates.
Oh wow.
And license plates.
Wow. Oh yeah.
Seriously. This is the Kodak Theater. I mean my dad. Well, dads. Take a screenshot of that and send it to me somehow.
Woman in the Batman movie that we did, and Eartha Kitt was in one episode as Catwoman. So we had some great people. Also, I don't know if you remember the show with Egghead, Vincent Price. He was, let me tell you, he was. I remember watching him as a kid, watching his movies, and I was scared by that. When he came on the set, I was like, oh my gosh. But we had great actors and actresses, just so many wonderful people. In fact, so many actors wanted to be on our show, and there weren't enough villain roles to go around. So that's when they created that scene of going up the side of the building. I'm sure those of you that watched our show remember that, where Batman and Robin are climbing up the side of the building and a window would open. And it could be like Sammy Davis Jr. or Jerry Lewis or, Colonel Klink or, I mean, there was so many actors from so many shows that were on our show. And that's the only way they could get them on would be to that window scene. Okay.
Now, Bert, you mentioned Vincent Price, and I've heard you tell this story before, but it's such a great story. If you could tell these guys about what happened while filming the Egghead episode.
Well, how many of you saw the Egghead episode? Okay. Well, you remember that, of course, it took place at Old MacDonald's farm with Vincent Price, and there was a scene right near the end of the movie where or the show, I should say, where we apprehend Egghead, and what happened was I got caught, and he had his arm around my neck, and he was breaking eggs on my head when Batman burst in. And the particular scene I'm describing is where Batman comes in and they have some dialogue. In other words, Batman says something to Vincent Price or to Egghead, and Egghead answers him, and then I'm supposed to get loose and hit Egghead with an egg. Well, these guys, both Vincent Price and Adam West, are such pros. They really rarely, if ever, make a mistake. But they thought they'd have some fun with me at my expense. And so what happens, we start the scene, and Vincent Price as Egghead, he breaks an egg over my head, and Batman comes in and has a line, and he breaks a second egg over my head, and but they kept goofing up their lines. So we kept having to do it over and over and over, and I had all this raw egg going down under my cape, into my shirt, into my shorts. I mean, true egg shampoo. And I was like furious, and I knew they were goofing off, but at my expense. So finally, when after about 8 or 9 takes, I mean, I had like something like 20 eggs broken over my head. I started to get dizzy from the eggs breaking on my head. But anyway, I got loose, and I was supposed to pick up one egg and throw it at Egghead. I picked up an entire box of a dozen eggs, and I hit him so hard on his egg head that it moved. I mean, his egg head was actually tilted for the rest of that scene. But it was a fun show, and those are the kinds of funny things that happen that you might not, you might not necessarily know unless you were there, But it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of great stuff on Batman. There was a lot of dangerous stuff too. So okay.
Yeah. Anyone else? Hands up. We can yell it out. Sir, in the front there. Well, there is really only one Robin. It's Mr. Burt Ward, folks.
Thank you. Everybody does a good job. People ask me about the Batman movies. They said, well, who do you think was the best Batman? I said, well, there were some very fine actors that have portrayed in the Batman movies since our series. But in terms of what I think about and what really most people think about, there really is only one Batman, and that was Adam West.
Yeah. Now, as far as Robin goes, Bert, your audition, you once told me there was, how many kids auditioned?
1,100 young actors that tried out for my part.
Whoa.
So that was pretty stiff competition. And when I got the part of Robin, the producers came to me, they said, Bert, would you like to know why we selected you to play the part of Robin? I said, yes, I would like to know. And they said, because in our minds, forgetting television, just thinking if there really were a Robin, if there really were one, that we think you personally would be it. So we don't want you to, quote, act. We want you to just be yourself and be enthusiastic. And that's what I did for 120 episodes. And the things that you saw on Batman, such as me jumping over the door to get into the Batmobile, or jumping over the door to get out, or standing up and walking along the edge of the Batmobile, which caused headaches with the people who had made the Batmobile. But I did all that myself. The director and the people, the producers, were so concerned about the effects, the explosions, and all of the things that were happening, the fight scenes, that Adam and I were basically left to do stuff the way we wanted to. So the things like the hitting my fist into my palm and all those things that you remember, and the holies, those things, although those were written, all of that stuff was done. Adam and I were free to do it. And because he and I had such a good relationship, and the chemistry was just a natural chemistry between people, it really worked, and people really loved it.
Yeah, thanks, Bert. Anyone else? Hands up. Man, right here. What was your craziest fan experience? Today, you mean? Or today?
Oh my gosh. Well, you have to understand, we made Batman in 1966, 67, 68, and since then, both Adam and I have made over 7,000 personal appearances with 8.5 million autographs signed in all these years. I wouldn't say that there's any one experience. Wow. I kind of think that what happens wherever I go, it seems like something, it doesn't have to be dramatic, but it's something, it could be very fun, it could be funny. People by nature are funny. And most people that when they come up to say hi to Adam or I, there's that moment when, especially if they're adults now and they grew up watching us, and maybe they have their own kids with them, but when they come up and there's that moment when we first meet, that what happens is that the adults become childlike for a very short period of time. So you could have a mom and a dad and the two kids, and they'll come up and the father will say, "Oh, Johnny, this was Daddy's favorite superhero. I got to play Robin, my brother played Batman." And the boy or the girl, the child, will look at them and say, "You sound different, Dad. How come?" Because they don't see them as a child. I mean, they only see the parents as an adult figure. And the mother will say something like, "Oh, and I was in love with Robin." And the kids will say, "Mom, why are you talking like that?" So that for me is entertaining because it's that moment when everybody gets a chance for a very short period of time to kind of relive their childhood for a little bit. And that's really cool, and it's cool for me to see that.
Yeah, and I think, I've been fortunate enough to do this with Bert for 20-something years, and I think the one thing when we're at the table, when people come up, and again, it's adults, grown people, they'll come up and literally just cry their eyes out. And Bert and I will be looking at each other, what do you say to someone? They're having that moment and crying, but it just shows the kind of impact that the show had on people's lives, and it's great, and all you people are here because of it. So, someone else. Yeah, right in the back of the black, Darth Vader. Could you stand up and nice and loud? We do have a mic there if you guys want to. That'd be great.
What was probably your favorite part about being Robin?
Surviving. We had a really dangerous show. I mean, people don't realize how dangerous it was making Batman. I recall the first episode that 4 of the first 6 days of filming, I ended up going to the emergency hospital. I mean, I'd never even been to an emergency hospital. The very first day, the first shot, early in the morning, at 7:30 in the morning, we were at Bronson Canyon for that very famous scene. You remember coming out of the Bat Cave where the Batmobile roars out, the sign goes down, and we make that sharp turn and head off to Gotham City? Well, when we went to film that, it's early in the morning, I got my costume on, and they said, oh, Bert, go into the cave, get into the Batmobile, and we're gonna film this. So the cave was dark, and I got in the Batmobile. It took a couple of minutes to adjust to the dim light, but when I looked over, I could see that I thought it was Adam West dressed as Batman, but it wasn't. Somebody else. And I said, well, who are you? And he said, my name's Huey. I said, well, why are you here? And he said, well, I'm a stuntman, and this is a very dangerous stunt, and they don't want to take a chance of Adam West getting hurt. So I said, well, that's good. I said, well, why is this so dangerous? He said, well, because I've got to come out at about 55 miles an hour. We're going to make a sharp turn, and, it's whenever you do these things, it's very easy to get broken bones. And I said, really? He said, yeah, and he said, and actually, he says, that's good for me. He says, because the more broken bones I get, the more money I get. And I said, oh, wow. I said, do I have a stuntman? He said, oh, yeah, you got yours. I said, oh, okay, and I could hear him getting ready to do this thing. I said, well, wait a minute, where's my stuntman? Oh, I thought last time I saw him, he was over there having coffee with Adam West. So they're about to shoot the show at the scene. And I said, wait a minute, whoa. And they come running up, the assistant director, Bert, we gotta go. What's the problem? I said, well, wait a minute. I said, this man tells me it's a dangerous shot. He said, yes, we know that. I said, yes, but don't I mean, where's my stuntman? I mean, I understand he's out there, having coffee with Adam West while I'm sitting here. He said, yeah, we know that. I said, yes, but why? Why isn't he in here? Oh, we can't use him. You can't use him? Why is that? Because he doesn't look like you. Well, why would you hire somebody to be my stuntman if he doesn't look like you? We couldn't find anybody else. So I had to do that shot, and I was nervous, I'll be truthful. We came out at 55 miles an hour, raced right at the camera. The driver, the stuntman, did a perfect job, made that sharp left turn, but unexpectedly, my door flew open.
Ooh.
Okay, and because it was on this side, the centrifugal force was throwing me out of the door. I mean, it happened so fast. And I just happened to reach back, and I caught my little finger around the gear shift knob, which kept me from falling out, but it pulled my finger out of joint. And that's really painful. Even through the glove, I could see my finger was instantly like twice as big. I mean, it just swelled up instantly. And it knocked the cameraman off the camera truck, knocked one of those giant arc lamps over, which somebody could have been killed if it landed on them. And they rushed over, and they said, are you okay, Bert? I said, yes, but my hand is hurting me. And they said, oh my gosh. And they said, we got to get you to a doctor. And I said, yeah. I said, okay. And I said, well, where do I go to get to the car? And they said, oh, no, we can't do it now. We didn't finish the shot.
Oh, my stars.
My hand is killed. What do you mean? Oh, we got to get the shot. You got 80 men on this crew, $35,000 an hour. We got to get the shot. I said, oh, okay. So now that was 7:30 in the morning. I left for the hospital at noon. Okay?
Wow.
Okay. And that was the first of 4 days in a row, from explosions. I had a 2x4 in one of the scenes. I don't remember. Do you remember the first show with Frank Gorshin as the Riddler, and where they make that mask of me, and Jill St. John as Molly dresses up to look like Robin? You guys remember that episode? Well, there was a scene in the subway where I was being kept by Riddler, that I was tied down on a table, okay, and Batman was supposed to break through the subway wall and rescue me. Well, when they go to make a breakaway wall, that's what it is actually. It's made out of balsa wood. It's very thin, very light. You can put a small charge, and it looks like a big explosion. But the people that built the set did not remember to make a breakaway wall. So now they had to have an explosion to blow a hole in a wall that was built like a real building, like this building, like with 2x4s, okay? And there was no time to do that. There's no time. It would take 2 weeks. So do you know what they did, how they solved that problem? The special effects guys used 2 half sticks of dynamite and nearly blew the entire soundstage down. Okay? I mean, it's real. I'm tied down on a table with my arms tied next to me, looking up, and when this happened, the explosion was deafening. Okay? And when it happened, a 2x4 came down, tied on a table, hit my nose, broke my nose. Okay? And I mean, I should have known, okay, that there could be a problem, because I'm tied down on a table and all these guys are walking by, these special effects guys with these explosives. And at 8 o'clock in the morning, to smell liquor on their breath, it's a bad sign. Okay? All right. What else?
They should have taken a life insurance policy.
Oh, they did, actually. As a matter of fact, the studio was very smart. They took out a life insurance policy for millions of dollars to protect themselves, right? But I'll tell you, by near the end of when we started filming, like in 1968, the very end, I could swear they were trying to collect on that policy.
All right, we got someone else. Right in the back there, sir, with your hand up. You're welcome to use the mic if you can. That way the audience can hear your question as well.
When you first started working at Batman, you were obviously a brand new actor. Were you starstruck with the legendary co-stars you worked with? And my other question is, how far did you get in judo?
Well, I had studied judo. I'm a martial artist, a black belt in karate. In fact, just to give you a quick, one of the shows we had Bruce Lee. Did you know that in one of our episodes? Bruce Lee is Kato, and Ben Williams is, the superhero that the Green Hornet, right? And on those two guys, the same producer, William Dozier, produced that show. And a piece of trivia for you: where I lived was in a condominium complex that Bruce Lee also lived there, and I used to spar with Bruce Lee. Okay. And a piece of trivia: his very first film fight scene of his career was fighting me, and he was a great martial artist, terrific guy. But it wasn't judo, it was karate that I had studied.
And in fact, Bert, in 2015, you were inducted into the Karate Kickboxing.
Yeah, Hall of Fame, International Karate and Kickboxing Association Hall of Fame. So that was an honor too. Okay, who else has got a question? Anybody?
Man, right up front here. Nice and loud.
No. We were very careful. We were always going on these fishing trips, things like that. And of course, Alfred, our butler, kept the ruse going so that poor Aunt Harriet wouldn't be stressed to find out that we were really Batman and Robin.
She was a sweet actress.
Very, very great.
All right, where else? Sir, right up front here. Yeah, yep.
It's probably been asked this question before, but what was your favorite holy blank Batman line?
Everybody asked me that. I don't know why. I did Well, in the series, I believe there's 378 of them. And
Wow.
when you count the Batman movie, over 400. And then if you count the movies that I've done since then, especially the animated feature that I recently completed that came out last November, and then of course, as I mentioned, the new one is coming out October 10th. It's like almost 500 of them. I didn't have a particular one. Well, you have to understand, they were always written in association with something we were doing. You know what I mean? In other words, it wasn't just an abstract thing. I mean, if we were in a spaghetti factory one time, I think I had a line like, "Holy ravioli, Batman!" Something like that. All right?
Hey Bert, we Rochester Comic Con allow questions to be emailed in. We have one from Brian in Syracuse. Bert, thank you very much for the work you do with the animals. Can you please tell me a little bit about your rescue and your dog food?
Okay, my wife and I, it's funny, people say, well, how could you be involved in rescuing dogs and being an actor that plays in Robin? I said, well, it's kind of both the same thing. I like to say I was the caped crusader, and now I'm the canine crusader. So for those of you that have dogs, you might appreciate the fact that for the last 23 years, my wife and I have been rescuing thousands of dogs, more than 15,500.
Wow.
All of which would have been dead if we hadn't been there to save them.
I'm making mouth things with my hand.
For the last 23 years, we've had more than 50 dogs in our house living with us. I tell people I've gone to the dogs literally. But in the course of doing this, and particularly with the giant breeds like the Great Danes and the St. Bernards and the Irish Wolfhounds, those breeds traditionally live very short lifetimes. And when we would lose one, my wife and I would literally cry. So we've spent millions of dollars to develop a dog food for which it's called Gentle Giants. We take nothing from it, no money at all. But we have this food available, and our dogs and people that feed their dogs, Gentle Giants, have their dogs living as long as 27 healthy, active years. So while I'm here, if you have any questions, you want to know about it, I can certainly tell you.
Hold up. So yeah, that's Comic-Con for you. Well, at least Rochester. I know. Like, subscribe, and share. Bye.
We got time for one more question.
No.
All right, you've been waiting. I saw it.
Sorry.
Well, while we're waiting for this gentleman to make
Sorry.
the microphone, please remember that you can go see me upstairs. Or not excuse me, not I was saying I'm sorry. Down upstairs, get an autograph, and if you have any questions that we haven't gotten to, you'll have a chance to ask her.
Absolutely.
My dad is a very big fan of yours, and well, that's one. Number two is what was your favorite show growing up?
Well, one that I watched with okay, so today, what I turn on if I'm doing my makeup or something like that, I turn on Law and Order. If I can find a special victims unit, that's the one I go to. I love Mariska. She's a sweetheart in person too. So I watched that. Back in the day, the show I turned on to watch like that was Star Trek, the original Star Trek, because they played it on Channel 11, and it was at 6 o'clock just before I go to the theater when I was a chorus girl. So I eat dinner, watch Star Trek, go to the theater. Yeah. So
Wait. You said you sing too?
Oh yeah. Yeah.